going live. All right. Should be. While we're waiting for this to warm up, I'm going to remind everyone out there to go to hankstrange.com. That's right. That's what you need to do. That's how you keep up with us. That's where our email list is. That's how you could support us. hankstrange.com. I can't say it enough times to all the folks out there. That is where you need to go. And we'll be doing giveaways and all kinds of stuff coming up here through our email list. So make sure you go check that out. And yeah, Lola says that's where all the deals are. All right, I think that everything's rolling through here. I am going to drop the open on everyone.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange
there
Situation.
It goes. Yes.
Lifestyles of
Make
the
sure you
locked and loaded.
subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. And we are live right now. Let's see jazz hands, guys. You know the routine. I know, it's all tough guys. Nobody wants to do jazz. There we go. Yeah, see, real tough guys do jazz hands. We are live. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 516 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I'm coming to you live from Gainesville. We're joined tonight by my guests. X-Ring. Ray is in the house. X-Ring. He's in the house. He's here joining us once again. And it feels like deja vu because we also have Todd, Elfster's Rifles and Reloading here as well. We should just call...
Hello, everybody.
This is episode 2 of the X-Ring and Elfster show.
Yeah.
Come back to you guys. It should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. Welcome back, guys. To all the folks out there who are joining us right now, please smash the thumbs ups, okay? We appreciate that. Share this if you can. We don't have, like, our normal Facebook page back at all at this point. I'll probably get into that a little bit here as we continue to talk, but we don't have it back. We started up another one. It's Facebook/hankstrange.com, all spelled out for anyone who wants to look. I think we have maybe like 100 and something people following us there. So help us out and share the fact that we're on the air. Yeah. Shout out to all the folks out there who are coming in. The show's brought to you by Walther's. That's right, Walther's Firearms. They are the sponsor of the show. We appreciate them doing that. Shout out to everyone out there. I see, is your 6 covered out there? I see him. I don't know why we don't actually have him on here, but you know, he's holding it down for us out in the chat. Ray, what's up, man? What's been going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just got done with the Bushnell Elite Sniper Comp. That's what I've been up to for the last few days, recovering this week, and it's kind of new on my end.
Yes, I bet you that was really intensive. And I'm enjoying looking at all your different assortments of ammo in the background as well. Very nice. And trophies also. Trophies. Did you win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you win something out of this?
I did. I actually won this one right here, which is a piece of steel.
Oh, okay.
That Elite uses, and this is by Best Targets, and they make them for them. And this was from a stage years ago. Where it was supposed to simulate the famous or the infamous Hathcock sniper shot, where you shot through the scope.
Through the scope. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they had it where you got a point if you hit the steel because you had to find it first. But if you actually sent a round through here and hit the target behind it, you got more points.
Ooh, nice. So yeah. Did
that.
you do that? Did you put a round through and hit the target in the back of the thing, or?
We did not do that this
okay.
year, but that's kind of ever since they started it, that's been their trophy.
Okay, very cool. And Todd, my friend, Elfster's Rifles and Reloading, what's up with you? What have you been up to?
Not much. I'm pretty much in the same boat with you with my Facebook page. Good old Facebook took the axe to my Facebook page too, you know. And so I'm right in the thick of things trying to get that back. So all my followers on Facebook and follow what I'm doing. So I got a feeling that I'm going to be in the same boat as you, though, my friend. So
yeah. Well, what did you do? What happened with you? How did you know?
Well,
how did that go down?
The first time my Facebook page was taken down, it was a concerted attack. I don't know who, but my profile, my page, and my closed group got all hit with 6 false flags. There were flagging guys shooting rifles, flagging affiliate links as nudity, just in an effort to try and get.
Oh, so all at the same time.
all in the same time, less than 30 minutes on my profile, my closed group, and my Facebook page. And Facebook turned 2 of them around on my page, 1 in the closed group, and for some weird reason, my page just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to start another one. I'm not going to stop. And so I started a whole new page, and that went on for about 5 months. And they said because I started a new page that was similar to the old one, they just literally, without warning, gone.
Okay.
So,
and who did you mess with? Were you talking bad about Bloomberg? What was, how'd you...
well, that's the whole reason. At the same time I started my second one, that's the whole reason why I started my second Facebook page, Elfster's Minute Americans, and that's literally why I concentrated all my political BS talk over there. And I did nothing but content and affiliate links on my main page. And for some reason, I don't know who I pissed off over there, but they just decided without warning, just gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's the same thing with me. I know with my page, we reached out to some people that were going to try to help us get the page back, and they said the page was supposed to come back, but then it somehow wound up in limbo. That someone literally put it into a limbo state. It's the best way I could explain it. And they're like, yeah, that's why it's not back. And we actually had to reset, our the request to have them look at it all over again. So it all went back to square one. Mm-hmm.
And I appealed it, and it's still an appeal. But starting today, I might have a shining light to potentially get it back. And if it works, I just might be able to help you out too, my friend.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't want to drive everyone crazy and bore folks with that. But this is what it is to be a gun guy, on the interwebs, so to speak. Yeah. I think I saw something that PragerU, PragerU was suing YouTube, and I guess it went to the federal courts, and the federal courts denied it. So I don't know if that's going to wind up going to the Supreme Court. And I think they used some kind of Supreme Court ruling to deny it, basically saying that YouTube could do what they want to do because they're private. So,
well, it's probably some really liberal Supreme Court in California.
Yeah, or federal court. Yeah. So, the fight continues with all this stuff. All right, so let me see what else is going on here. Do we need to shout anyone out? Do you guys see any of your folks in the chat that need to be shout out? Other than, of course, is your 6 covered, Rick? Rick is out there holding it down. So I'm guessing Rick is always live, huh? He's
starting to like it a lot.
Yeah,
he's really getting into it.
Yeah, he's somewhere live drinking iced tea right now.
He's got the IV.
Yeah, getting a sugar rush. Yeah, getting a sugar rush going. Okay, so I know both of you like long distance, long range shooting. Obviously, X-Ring just did the competition. Do you want to tell us, Ray, what gun were you using at this event?
On this particular match, I was using a rifle that I kind of put together from guns that I had won in the past. So it had a Nordic handguard with a Nordic matched upper that were really kind of blended. It's got a 20-inch proof barrel. I was actually shooting 5.56 with the Thunder Beast arm suppressor and a Lancer lower with a Lancer stock, topped off with a Night Force ATAC R4 to 16 with a Trimmer 3 reticle. I was secondary on this match, and we were trying to my partner for the match was Bryson Allen. He's a young shooter, very good shooter, but he's a 3-gun shooter. And so he had won a Masterpiece Arms in 6.5 Creedmoor. So I figured it'd be best, since he had never done this type of competition, to let him be primary, and then I would do the spotting for him and give him wind calls and everything else. So we were only able to train for a couple hours on 2 days before the match.
Oh, okay. Do you have this? I know we can't show the gun here, but do you have this on your Instagram or anything? Are you on Instagram?
I am, but I'm not I do some things on social media, but I don't have a lot of presence on IG
okay.
or on Facebook.
Yeah, you're not.
He's got full videos though on his YouTube channel. I mean,
Oh,
just
okay. So
what he got
if we look on the
four
YouTube, we
videos
should
up
see it.
on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe we'll just let me see. I'll try to pull up the YouTube here, and then we'll see if we could actually take a look at this gun. In case you guys are not subscribed to either one of these guys, please go to YouTube, search their names. X-Ring is just X-Ring, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what you are on YouTube. Where would I find the video with your rifle that you used?
Maybe search up Black Beauty. I don't know. That's kind of what it's been dubbed.
Black Beauty. Okay. I like the name. I know that's
Wait.
okay.
Hank, this is a really serious competition. I mean, we're already talking, Ray, what, 30 total miles, 3 days. I think it's 10 miles a day. There's different, 5 different shooting spots per day, right? And these, multiple targets per spot?
You're exactly right, Todd. So basically, you have 3 divisions for the Bushnell Elite. It was originally started, I believe, by Joe Burdick, and it was supposed to be a law enforcement and military only sniper competition. However, they opened it up to civilians. I think this is the 3rd year that they've had it. And what they call a mechanized division, which, let's say you've got a bad ankle or you've got an injury or something, you do not do any hiking or rucking or anything else. You load up on the back of a trailer and they take you to the shooting stages, and you're just basically going to wait for the ruck divisions to come in. So mechanized division is 1, and then the 2nd division is trooper. Trooper, you're going to be rucking, carrying all of your ammo for the day. The only convenience you have is in the evening when you're released. You can go back to your hotel room, restock up on your ammo and your food, and then just be back out there in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The most difficult division is the LRP division. The LRRP division, you're out there for 3 days. You carry everything from the start, and that includes your tent, sleeping bag, and food for the next 3 days. We were in Trooper Division. That was a good place to start, especially for Bryson. I've never shot one of these matches before. It was a good one to be in. There were 60 teams, 120 guys, and there was actually a heart attack on course as well. I think it was after the first day, someone in Trooper Division.
Oh, okay.
But they are okay.
Yeah. Where did this take place?
This was in Ellerby, North Carolina.
Okay.
It was at Coleman's Creek training facility or training grounds that is only open to, I think, military and law enforcement for training. It's not open to civilians. It is a long-range playground.
Oh, okay. So was it just long-range stuff you were doing, or was handgun? I was just trying to look at a video. I don't know if that was interrupting our video, but was there handgun
so
stuff?
Most of the stages had pistol involved.
Mhm.
Pistol is an element, but it's not a huge element. They're typically going to be about 3 steals. They're going to be anywhere from 20 to maybe 50 yards, so they're longer engagements. And typically, you're both you and your partner are going to have to shoot those and engage those before you dump your pistols, and then you'll go to the long range portion.
Oh, okay.
And these aren't small hills you're climbing.
Yeah.
I mean, these are some damn near mountains, and yeah.
I mean, it's not like the mountains I live in, but thinking Eastern North Carolina, you're assuming it's going to be flat land, like out in Fayetteville and everywhere else, but it's not. When we got there, we're like, holy crud, this is north of Charlotte, and you get, you got Uwharrie and all that other stuff. I mean, this was just outside of Oakboro by about 50 minutes or so, and so we did see a lot of hills, and it was like, oh geez. They did change the match up this year. I didn't shoot in it last year, but I know in the previous year, you would typically ruck for a mile or 2, and then you shoot a stage, pack up, ruck again. So doing that, you're getting breaks, you're staying warmed up. They decided to change it this year, and maybe it was because of the layout of the facility itself, but they started you off with a 4.2-mile ruck at 6 a.m., and on Friday, it was brutally cold. It was 19, 20 degrees. The high for the day was 32, but the wind was blowing at a constant 17 miles an hour. So when you got there, you were soaking wet, and you know what happens when you're just getting pounded by wind. You're gonna get hypothermic if you're not careful. So everybody changed their clothes and dry clothes. You stayed there. You shot 5 stages that were relatively close, Then when you were done at about 6 o'clock, you had to ruck for another hour and a half and got done about 8 in the evening. And this was 3 days straight.
So were you holding like a full mill of wind on some of those targets?
There was one stage in particular with Bryson shooting the 6.5. He was holding a mill and a half, and that was 600 and some yards.
Wow. So what was the longest shot you guys were taking?
1,200, and it was on a dead electronic stage, so they didn't allow the use of any rangefinders. Batteries had to, not just don't use them, you had to pull batteries out of your rangefinders, anything like that. And so you had
no cheating.
No cheating. You had to range the target.
No Raptor or anything, or
no. I actually removed it from my gun or my rifle, and I didn't want there to be any question about it. And you milled the targets with your reticle, and you told them you had a firing solution, and then you can engage.
Wow.
So what kind of prep can you do for this ahead of time? Like, it seems like you didn't realize where it was going to be or the terrain. What kind of training do you do? Just a lot of cardio?
Bryson had shot and entered into a running gun that I had done with him. And that kind of changed his mindset on things. So about 3 months ago, he knew we were going to do this. He started changing his diet, working out. He lost 38 pounds before this match. He was hiking about 5 to 7 miles a day. You definitely need to practice for this. The terrain was not nice. The gravel was huge. It wasn't like you were on soft, compact ground. It was nasty.
And pack light, right?
Yeah.
Correct. My pack was a little over 40 pounds, about 42 by the time it was all said and done. And I think Bryson's was 50 something, but his rifle's twice as much as mine weight wise.
Okay.
Now I noticed you were shooting mostly an AR and he was shooting a bolt action. Is that correct?
Correct. So typically the primary is going to be on a bolt gun, and then the secondary is usually going to be on some type of gas gun, but the gas gun is limited to 5.56 or 308. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were rocking the 5.56, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you taking shots at 1,200 yards?
No, not at this match. That was actually his. As far as his target, on that one they didn't give you the option for me to take that shot. He didn't even have it out there. The furthest he's ever even shot a rifle was 1,000 yards, and he's only done it once out of the Clinton house.
Okay, and his was a 308 bolt action, right?
6.5 Creedmoor masterpiece.
Yeah. So just for folks out there who don't know, that might include me. Who's Bryson?
Bryson Allen.
Okay.
He is a 3-gunner that came on pretty strong onto the scene, I guess, when he was about 15 years old. I think he was fully sponsored by 16 by Cobalt Kinetics, and very, very full 3-gunner. And that I met him shooting some local matches and then shooting regionals.
And very young. He's very young guy. What is he?
Bryson Allen.
He's as young as he is, though.
Oh.
He's very articulate and very mature for his age.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to see if I've ever met him. I don't know all the different, competitive shooter dudes. So, okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the young guy. You were the old guy, because is your 6 says you were just out there drinking Coke and eating donuts or something like that?
Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I actually packed one of these in my pack. I was like,
sugar. You need sugar when you're burning all those calories in a situation like that, right?
And I went to REI and bought like $60 worth of protein bars and everything else. Everybody's got the freeze-dried food and everything because you're trying to really keep the weight off your pack. So you're throwing hot dogs and hamburgers in there.
So tell me about the optic that you were using and what Bryce was using for optics.
Okay, so I was using the Night Force 4-16 ATAC-R with the Trimmer 3 reticle. Bryson had a Night Force that I had sold him about a year ago, but it was a second focal. I said, you really need to look at a first focal plain scope. And so I had a Leupold Mark IV M5, and he wanted it, and so I sold it to him, and that's what he ran.
Yeah. And that Tremor reticle is your favorite, right?
It is my favorite by far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things about the Trimmer that I like. It has the wind holds in there once you've calculated what the wind dots are for. It has quick range estimation. So even though we had to use our reticle to mill, it was a 12-inch round. Well, if you know a Night Force Trimmer 3, there's a 12-inch bracket in there, and it already kind of told me. I didn't really even have to do any math. I confirmed it.
Yeah.
I went ahead and did it.
So were you mostly just adjusting your reticle for elevation and using the reticle for windage then most times, or?
I never dial.
You didn't know?
I dialed 1 out of the 15 stages. Everything else I held in the reticle or held for wind.
So it's pretty fast paced then.
A little too fast paced. You guys know I've shot a lot of sniper matches. I've won a lot of sniper matches, and this was probably some of the fastest timing that I've ever seen. So, for example, on day 1, when we started the first stage, it was assumed we were the first squad of the day and the first shooters of the day, that it was 6 minutes, because it's always been 6 minutes. Even when you go out west and you shoot a CD match, it's 6 minutes. So we get up on the stage, we shoot it, and I called out to the RO for time, because they'll usually, some of them, if they're not being knuckleheads, will tell you how much time you have left. All of them did except one RO there. So at least he was consistent. He never would do it. When I called out time, the guy was like 40 seconds. And I was like, what? It was a 5 minute timeout. So all the stages on the first day were 5 minutes. Well, the problem is almost all the teams bombed at 5 minutes. The second shooter really didn't have any time to shoot. So day 2, they bumped it up to 5.5 minutes all stages. So yeah, I think they were a little tight on their times.
Yeah.
Why do you go? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
I suppose it was all about really cool, calm conversation. And was he calling out your yardages too, or?
Okay, so on most of these matches, most of these sniper matches, the secondary, depending on where you're shooting, what part of the country, the secondary can usually go first. Okay, you can choose who goes first. And the secondary usually has unlimited rounds, usually. Okay, so let's say there's 3 steals out there. I'm hitting these steals, but I'm not just trying to get points and hit the steals. I'm also trying to get some type of win data for my primary shooter, because typically your primary can shoot 1 shot at each steal, and that's it. If he shoots at this one and misses, so be it. He's down, and he goes to the next one. He's down. They changed it up this year. They said a lot of people complained about not getting enough trigger time for such an expensive match. It's $500 for a team just to enter. Now, that being said, it was a $100,000 prize table. We pulled some really nice scopes off the table. So, yeah, big thanks to the sponsors for doing that. But when you have big events like this, you're typically going to have the larger prize tables. What they did was they said, we're going to give you guys 3 rounds per target. Okay, so that changed it in the first place, but then they made it even better. They said the primary, his first attempt at a target, if he hits it, will be 3 points. He can re-engage it right then and there, and if he hits it again, it's 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can re-engage it again, and if he hits it again, it's 1 point, regardless. Okay, so if you shoot and miss 0, shoot and miss 0, you shoot and hit on the third, you get 1 point, because 3 points is awarded for a first round hit. They killed the secondary shooters by saying your first round hit is worth 2, second round is worth 1, third round is worth 1.
Huh.
So the maximum a secondary could get was 4, whereas a primary could get 6. So they really changed the rules up quite a bit. It threw a monkey wrench in it, and after day 2, the results were kind of leaked and where everyone was placed, and I saw that we were in 4th place at that time. And I hate to say it because I don't consider myself a gamer, but you look at how things are being done, and you got to remember Bryson's a newer shooter. He did a great job, but I said it's all about points. I'll just shoot, bang as many targets as I can, try to get a guaranteed 4 points instead of a maybe 2 or maybe 3.
Okay.
So how many rounds of ammo did you pack up then?
Well, we were told to bring 200 rounds. I think I shot 100-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just do this for a second, right? Because I know you guys understand everything that you're talking about. That's awesome. But not everyone exactly understands everything that you guys are talking about. So I just want to go back a little bit out there. I know we do have folks out there that understand as well. I'm asking everyone to smash the thumbs ups for us. We appreciate that. Just explain to me, X-Ring, how how do these matches typically work, right? Because you do this a lot. So for the folks out there that have never done it, like how do they look at the matches? Like you're saying, okay, this had like an entry fee of $500. Is that typical? Not typical? And then you said that the prizes and stuff like that equaled about like what was it, like $100,000 worth of prizes?
Correct.
Yeah, I
Correct.
don't like how many people are in there. How does someone think about this? So if they've never done these competitions, they can have this info to figure out whether they want to do it or understand
Okay.
what they're looking at.
All right. So yes, it is typical to see entry fees somewhere for a team sniper match, $400 to $600 for the team.
Okay.
Okay. If you're out west, I'm going to highly recommend you look into Competition Dynamics.
Hmm.
Those matches are held in Wyoming. They're in Colorado. Now, this is not PRS. Okay. This is not the Precision Rifle Series. This is a team sniper match. You're going to be rucking and carrying your stuff or doing the hikes. There are usually multi-day events, 2 and 3 day events. So that's on the west. If you come east, you're going to have, okay, so you have the Bushnell Elite that they hold somewhere in North Carolina about every year. I think originally this might have been scheduled for Rock Castle, and they had to move it because of the buyout at Rock Castle in Kentucky. So my understanding is there won't be any more shooting there. That's near Mammoth Caves and all that.
Okay, hold on one second. So that's a thing that I didn't realize. What happened with Rock Castle? I've been there. I've done events and stuff like that there. What happened to them?
The property, from my understanding, was bought by entity, and it was divided up into 2 or 3 segments or parcels. And the last I heard is there will be no more shooting events at Rock Castle.
Whoa. Okay, that's big news. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so this venue had to be changed because I know that Mammoth had been there before in the past, which is another ruck match. And you also had, the other thing I didn't mention is you actually have ruck times. You can't just start walking, and you got to keep track of what your pace is. Typically you're going to have like an 18-minute mile ruck time, which we talked about this earlier, and a guy was like, I can walk 11-minute miles. Yeah, okay, let me see it. Okay, you're not going to walk 11-minute miles with a 50-pound ruck unless you're He-Man. There's very few that are going to keep that sustained over a long distance. Okay, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's not easy. You're not going to walk it. A good fast-paced walk, you'll keep 17-minute mile with a ruck like that with hilly terrain. But like at Mammoth, I think they have like 15-minute ruck times. So you have a time constraint or you get DQ'd.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So something happened to Rock Castle. I'll probably dig into that and see. My understanding was that they were like a complete shooting facility. They were putting up houses and everything there for gun guys. They had the whole like prepper thing going on, that your house that you built on that property would have like a walk-in safe, all that stuff. So I guess that's all gone away.
They might still develop it. I don't know. I actually shot there a couple times last year. They had the Pro-Am there.
Okay.
I know they moved the Pro-Am to Clinton House in South Carolina this year.
Okay.
But yeah, my understanding is they're breaking all that up.
Okay. All right. Cool. So then to get back to the match out there. By the way, there was some smarty pants out there that said that they know everything about what you're talking about. Armament and Axis says he understands everything they're talking about. That's interesting. I never understand anything about what Armament and Axis is talking about. Len Holt says me too. So there you go. Those guys are on your frequency.
We'll ask Armory and Axis how many mils does it take to shoot a 308 at 600 yards?
Oh, is that okay? There you go. Armament and Axis, smarty pants. give us the answer to that. And then I think they're also trying to figure out your age, but that's
Yeah, 49. I actually answered that. 49.
Okay. All right. So to get back to this match now, I forgot where you were before I so rudely interrupted you.
You were talking about the prize tables, I believe.
Prize tables, right?
Yeah. What I've noticed is, okay, so you guys know that I shoot 3-gun as well, a lot of 3-gun, and what I noticed is, and look, there's something. You should support the event no matter what, but it is kind of nice when there is a decent prize table, whether it's random draw or not.. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed is with some of these matches with the $500 entry fee, there's a lot of 3-gun players. And I noticed that They do typically bring on bigger sponsors, and they're pretty decent prize tables. Three Gun Nation, and all that. I think that's kind of, I don't even know if that's going to be back around or whatever, but those prize tables kind of shrunk, and yeah, you can definitely take home some nice prizes at some of these if you can finish well, even if you don't finish well.
So I mean, as someone that does a lot of these, are you doing it for the money, the sport? What kind of money is there in it? Or is it like you just compete and win and then you get people sponsoring you? I don't understand how that works.
So I guess my first real sniper match, and I was doing long range before. Now this is back in the day before it was open to civilians. These were, they vetted you as either law enforcement or military active, and that's the only way you could get in. In 2014, I won Gastonia Sniper Conference with myself and my shooting partner, and we actually took home $25K in prizes. We won Barretts, we won Night Force scopes. It was over $25,000 that we split. So, about a $12,500 weekend. Then we won Guilford right after that. That was a couple grand. And then I won Sniper's Ultimate year before last, and that was a little over 10K in prizes. Sorry, Sniper's Unknown Challenge. That's put on by Phoenix Strategies. They are going to have it again this year, I believe, in October. I'm planning on shooting that event as well. I kind of got out of long range for the last year or so because I'd been working on 3-gun. And then when I won the 3-Gun Nation Nationals in Factory Division, that kind of checked that box off. So I'm getting back into long range again.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like some weekends that are separated. It sounds good like as an individual thing. But, that sounds like there's big separation there. So I'm assuming that everyone doing this is not doing this like full-time for a living kind of a deal, right?
No, and I don't think you're going to see that in 3-gun either. There's very few people that I can even think of. Even your big name guys that I've shot with, there's very few that are doing it for a living. If they are, they might be with the AMU because they're getting paid by the military to do it. Guys like Turner and those guys, or Horner before he left and went to SIG. Jerry. But yeah, very few people are doing it for a living. It is a hobby.
Oh, Ray, you kind of started out with 3-gun though,
right? No, believe it or not, I actually started off with long range with a buddy of mine that was an Army sniper, and this was back in the early 90s, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth on it, and then got into NRA high power rifle before they started allowing scopes and everything else like they do now. And so we were shooting, 200, 300, 600 yards with iron sights, and we would go to Lejeune and shoot down there, and I just always liked long range. And then it kind of slowly turned into pistol, and then 3-gun came on the scene, and then all these other sniper matches started coming about.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I've always been curious about that with all these different professional shooters. Like, how do they make their living? What do they do? I guess they've got to do multiple things then. Like, probably they have regular jobs, they compete, maybe they have some sponsors, different things go. Or do have a YouTube channel or something else like that, right?
Correct. So like for me, like this weekend, I'm teaching a long range class. It booked out immediately once we didn't even list it. We never even went public with it yet, and the word got out, and so we capped that at 12 students. We have 4 instructors, and I'll be teaching that in Old Fort this weekend. So I've been prepping up for that. So yeah, it's just to make, there's not enough matches this often that you're going to be able to make a living at it, even if you were that good.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay, Elfsters, what other questions do you have here? Before
that's about it. I mean, I watched some of the videos. I didn't watch them all, but it really helped. I like the fact you had that GoPro on your head. I think it's something new for you, isn't it? I mean, it started out a little rough at first.
Oh, man, I have never run a GoPro in my life, and somebody bought me one. A good friend, Sam, bought me a GoPro for Christmas, and I put that thing on my head, and I didn't ask anybody, and apparently it's aiming straight. And so when you're on the rifle, it's looking down here.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a little more of a hindrance than I anticipated. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not going to say I won't do it again, but it was a little difficult, And I've been using. I do want to give a shout out to Tacticam, Rudy Nunez. Those guys sent me a Tacticam to use, and I shot a local DM, a designated marksman match about a month ago, And I actually ran that the entire time on the match. And it was a great, great thing because it records everything you see through the scope. It records for you.
What's Tacticam? Oh, Tacticam fits on your scope?
Yeah, it slides right over the eyepiece, and it's live footage. And it is unbelievable. I have not seen anything that will touch it. Now, I didn't run that on the match because I run a night force on this rifle. A night force, when you change the magnification, your eyepiece rotates with it, unlike most of your scopes where you can just rotate that independently.
Right.
So you can have Tacticam flipping over like this. That wouldn't work too well.
Yeah, I'm running in some something from their site. Okay, so I see how that just goes. Yeah, that's like about $139. And
no, it's $500. The one I'm talking about. It's a prism that slides on the the actual back of the scope, and you don't even know it's there.
Which one were you guys? Which one were you? Do you know which one you were running?
It's the Tacticam 5.0 is what I didn't run that for the match, but that's what I ran in the designated marksman match.
Okay, I think I see it. All right, let's see if I could pull this up to show folks out there. The Tacticam 5.0. There you go.
Is it against the rules to do a sniper comp wearing leather pants? Asking for
who is asking that question?
I'm not answering that because I would wear leather pants.
Brian Quick. What was your answer just now? You said you're not going to answer that because what?
Because I wouldn't wear leather pants.
Oh. How would leather be out there in that weather?
I don't know. Sound like some motorcycle chaps or something going on. You're an engine guy. You're a motorhead.
Yeah. Works better on the cow than actually out there in weather. Yeah.
So Ray, were your sponsors hooking you up with ammo, or what type of ammo were you guys using out there?
Okay, so I'm going to have to give a big shout out to Defender Ammunition. I will never be able to say and give them enough gratitude. Chrissy and Haywood have been super with me. I think I was one of their first sponsored shooters. They are a veteran-owned company just outside of Bragg and Rayford, North Carolina, and they do some unbelievable ammunition. Now, I do shoot all their pistol ammunition, but there is a caveat here. I do not shoot them in the 6.5 ammo. I have some friends over at Hornady that help support me. So big shout out to them on the ELD match stuff. But Defender's been great to me. So I did shoot all their pistol ammo, and I will always shoot their pistol ammo.
What about your rifle ammo? What were you using out there?
Now that wasn't Hornady because I wasn't shooting my 6.5. I was secondary. So I'm going to be shooting Black Hills and nothing but Black Hills.
Nice.
Okay, very cool. So I guess when you do the competitions, you don't shoot your own stuff that you reload, right?
No, I do. I don't even show it on the channel that often. I don't do any reloading content. They're already after me hard enough as it is. Yeah. Every single video that I post up.
I don't think you really reload much though anymore, do you? I mean.
No, I do. As a matter of fact, I showed Rick how to reload the rifle stuff here for the 6.5. I'm very meticulous about it. So when I do reload, my ammunition's going to have, standard deviations of 3, 4, and that's about it. And it just takes so long to do that. And the benefit of that over, Hornady ELD match or something like that, my time's pretty important as well. So
I do have a good question for you here. So obviously you're full length resizing for your semi-autos, but do you neck only or do you full length resize for your bolt actions?
I do full length resize on my bolt actions.
Okay. It's good to know. That's a hotly debated topic in the world.
Actually, this topic came up with Eagle Eye with Kenneth. I don't know if you know him.
Actually ran into him out at SHOT Show.
Yeah, well, him and I talked quite a bit, and we had this conversation, and we both agreed that full length sizing, because he's doing some incredible stuff with 308. He's shooting 2,000 yards, with 308, that 200.2, I think it's a Burger hybrid. But yeah, sharing some information with him. I've always kind of been that guy that full length resized.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah. Same here. Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah, this is a great topic for you. I've been thinking really heavily about going to 6 Creedmoor. Have you played around with that much, Todd?
Oh, well, I have a 243. same bullet, other than the casing. I haven't played with 6 Creedmoor, but I know a lot of guys that do, and they absolutely love it. Matter of fact, that new Ruger Precision rifle just came out in 6 Creedmoor a couple of years ago that replaced the 243. Yeah. But no, I haven't played with it, but I've known a lot of people, especially in my closed group, my Elfster's 6x5 challenge, and I know a lot of guys in there that do use the 6 Creedmoor, and it's tremendously accurate.
You guys can't be serious with the 6 Creedmoor now. Now I gotta go look up the 6 Creedmoor.
So just to let you know here, Hank. So
crying the hell out loud.
6 Creedmoor shoots the exact same bullet as a 243. So when they say 6 Creedmoor, they're just saying the diameter of the bullet in millimeters.
Okay.
But it's the same bullet that a 243 shoots. It's just the brass casings are a little bit different. It's got a little bit steeper datum shoulder on it. But yeah, it's very, very accurate round. It's now when it comes to like buying it factory wise, it is more expensive. But if you reload, it's kind of a mood issue. So
okay, so you guys have to. So this is the thing, and hold on one second here. Armament and Axis wants to know if I'm calling him out, right? He says when he comes out to Florida, he'll challenge me to shoot and beat me long range, short range, everything. Okay, very cool. Congratulations to you. The reason why I'm asking is because not all of us are nerds. We're not all cartridge nerds. So
up because they're already ahead of us.
Yeah.
Because see,
they're on okay, let's see.
There's better rounds, Hank.
6 Dasher? What the hell is that? Huh?
Well, they have rounds like 6 Dash. You got 6 BR. You got 6 Dasher.
But okay, so
they all shoot the same bullet. It's just pretty much the casing's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those cartridges, though, Hank, you're gonna have to fire form. You're gonna have to pretty much hand load. There's no there's no comparing those rounds to, let's say, a 6.5 Creedmoor. They have, what is it, 70-80% less recoil. Mm-hmm. They are barrel burners, okay? You're going to be lucky to get 1,200-ish rounds if you're pushing them pretty hot. So even the 6 Creedmoor, okay, so I'm looking at a 6 Creedmoor barrel for my AI. Okay, so I can buy the pre-fit barrel, put it in. Mm-hmm. If you buy box 6mm Creedmoor, match, mm-hmm. it's going to do well, but it's not going to give you that huge advantage over 6.5 Creedmoor other than the recoil. But you can load those bullets to where they're pushing almost 3,200 feet per second. I mean, some guys are talking about 31, 70, 3180, but you're only going to get about 1,000 rounds out of that barrel. That's expensive.
Oh yeah. That brings up the question: what about my good old 308? How about that? How about just some 308 for you? Keep it simple. No.
Yeah.
I was when I started
like 6 BR, 6 Creedmoor, you name. They're mostly going to be reloading, and they're not like Ray said. The second they get that brass, they're out there fire forming that brass. They're playing with head space. They're getting the head space, down to 1,000th of an inch, and they're playing with jumps and you name it. That's a reloader's dream there.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy that when I shoot, that I say, hold on a second, I got to get my brass. I mean, that brass, dollar-wise, each one of those pieces is probably what, $2-3 if you really want to look at it. You can't buy it, Yeah. Brian Quick asked about 6.5 PRC. That's a great round. I actually reviewed a Proof TAC 3 and 6.5 PRC. It's basically a Magnum-based case shooting the Hornady 6.5 or 264 diameter. 300, there were a lot of third group guys that were shooting 300 Win Mag out there. And of course they had a problem with the 1,200 yard target. But that's, you don't see it a ton, but 300 Win Mag is usually the cap.
Yeah. It depends what level shooting you're on and what you do when you're shooting and all that. When I got into this first, I thought 308 was awesome. It was a big deal. I try to get, everything 308. Lately, I have moved over to 6.5 Creedmoor. To me, as being, like everyone says, the prototypical, flat shooting and all that kind of stuff. I cannot keep up with you super advanced. I'm getting every single little advantage I possibly can, competition dudes. And then especially not, Elfsters is
Well, if some of your viewers are not familiar with my channel, I just got done with a 6.5 Grendel PSA upper, a whole rifle series.
Oh, cool.
Part 1 is starting out with the upper, doing an overview of it. We shoot some factory rounds, really cheap Wolf ammunition you get for $5 a box roughly, and then some super
I have
expensive,
a ton of that stuff. That
Hornady
Wolf,
Black.
Yeah, Grendel.
And and that's in part 1, and then in part 2 and part 3 we did the reloading. I had to split that reloading up because I can't show you in one single video how to make a cartridge from start to finish. So in part 2 I showed from decapping up to cleaning the brass right before sizing, and then the third part would be the second half of reloading, which would be sizing the brass, everything up to seating the bullet. And then in part 4, which I literally just got done uploading, is shooting those reloads out of a very inexpensive PSA 6.5 Grendel upper, and I was getting groups down in the .6s for a very, very inexpensive upper from PSA, and it literally is all based on reloads. You can be very difficult to try and do that with even factory ammunition, and it would never happen with that Wolf ammunition. I mean, that Wolf ammunition, the first part was averaging roughly in the 2-minute of angle area. The factory Hornady Black ammunition was averaging roughly 1 1/4 to 1.5 minutes, and my reloads averaged for all groups across the board sub MOA. And one of the groups is down in the .6s for a very, very inexpensive PSA 6.5 Grendel upper. So I mean, I think Ray can probably agree with me. Reloads is half the battle. If you're not reloading, if you're trying to shoot a firearm long distance, and I've always said this, if your firearm can't print at least 1 minute of angle or less at 100 yards, you might as well not even show up to the 1,000-yard range, because if it's 1 minute of angle at 100 yards, that's a 1-inch group, and that's going to be a 10-inch, roughly 10.5-inch group at 1,000. If your best your gun can produce is 2 minutes at 100, that is going to be twice the size at 1,000 yards. It's going to be over 20 inches. So
yeah, I actually, for my rifle class, it's an intermediate long range class. We shoot out to 700 yards. My restriction for that class is actually holding a 1.5-inch group at 100. I don't say 1 inch because this is not what I consider long range, because we're not into transonic, subsonic, distances. So yeah, I'm okay with 1.5 on a 700-yard range.
Oh, okay.
Tighter.
Yeah. So a couple of things here. DCG 44 says starting to look at 6.5 Grendel. So is the 6.5 coming back? It was kind of here before, and then it went away.
Well, the 6.5 Grendel, what's nice about that round is it uses a small AR frame platform. So you can really get the weight down on that firearm, but it's using a superior bullet in comparison to something to like, 308 that uses a large frame platform. It's a very heavy firearm. You're getting almost the same, if not better, ballistics out of a small frame AR by using a better bullet, which is the 6.5 Grendel cartridge. Now, Hank, you might not know this, but the 6.5 Grendel cartridge, that bullet is the same bullet they use in a 6.5 Creedmoor. It's just a different cartridge.
Okay. Longer, shorter, what?
So the base of that 6.5 Grendel casing uses a standard AR-15 bolt. It uses a standard AR-15 bolt face. It doesn't have to use a large frame AR with a humongous AR bolt. Okay. And it can keep the weight down on that firearm. And it's a great round, not only for target shooting, but it's really, really popular in the hunting world too. So
okay. Yeah. So, and then the other thing I wanted to ask, and I'll start with Ray. You were mentioning that you're giving, what kind of classes do you give? Is it all across the board? Just specific things you're teaching?
Right now, it's going to be an intermediate long-range class. I think we'll go long-range this summer. I'm supposed to be teaching 2 classes with KB32 up in Pennsylvania. I used to run classes years ago and then kind of got out of it. We lost our range through and not operating in harmony with the surrounding environment, and the county commissioners came in and shut our range down. So I kind of swore it off after that, and then now I found another place to do this. We'll probably look at doing some carbine classes. That's it. I don't know if I will teach pistol classes. I did a lot of that before, and we're not talking about concealed permit type stuff or high speed pistol stuff, but I'll get into that.
Okay. And people shouting you out there, by the way. Schmitz and Giggles says, he says, Military Arms channels definitely helped push the popularity of 6.5 Grendel with some of his videos, which I think he recently put out. What was the video? I was looking at something that he recently put out about that. I don't think it was the Desert Tech, right? Because I think he has like a Desert Tech that's 6.5 Creedmoor or something.
Well, it's a great round. I mean, I just hooked up with 500 rounds off of Barnauls shipped for $130 or something. It works out a little over $5 for every 20 round box. And if you just want to go out to the range and plink, you can buy that ammo. You don't have to reload for it. Just have a good time, especially if you're trying to train somebody. Or if you want to go full blown out reloading, crazy with playing with headspace and jumps and powder drops. You got the best of both worlds there. So it's definitely a 1,000-yard capable rifle without issue. So
okay, let's see. Brian Quick says, "Is 224 Valkyrie dead?" That's his question. And then Flying Rich is saying something about Kata Boy, and Harry's Holsters is asking if Kata Boy is instructing. So
I think I'll be doing most of the instructing. We'll probably be doing it together, but I'll probably be doing most of the instructing. But it's at Kata Boy's home range up there in Pennsylvania. Personally, I think 224 is dead. I don't see anyone shooting that anymore in the competitions. I think that was great marketing. I think that thing kind of fell flat on its face. They didn't get barrel twist rates right and everything else. I did try a couple of them, but they were
every time I've seen somebody try to shoot one of those, the groups are not stellar. And I mean, I never shot one personally, but everyone I've ever known, some of my friends have shot them. It's just the groups weren't impressive.
Yeah. And, like 6.5, I love that. But the problem is you can't shoot that in a competition as a secondary, and it's not going to make a good enough primary. So, it has a different application than for some of these events that we're doing.
223, preferably in a wild chamber, is actually a very, very accurate round.
Yes.
If you're shooting, especially at 400 yards or less, to the 223 with the wild chamber, which can, I have one of my Rock River Arms 20-inch varmint bull barrel, and that thing just drives home tacks and little bug hole groups, and I run this 6x5 challenge group on Facebook, and I see literally every single firearm, every manufacturer, everyone ranging from beginner to, we got a James Phillips in there that's a world record holder 600-yard bench rush rifle shooter. I've seen them all, and that 223, you'd be amazed, it comes out on top damn near every single time at least 100 yards. So
okay. Hold on, I don't know what happened to
I was answering a question here, but no, that 5.56 that I'm shooting, when I was out in New Mexico last year, we were at a match, and there was a steel at 1,300 yards, and it went back to back with it, shooting a 77 grain with a 5.56.
Yep.
So now, is it the right tool for the job? Absolutely not, but it will do it. Remember, you're not trying to kill something on the other end. You're just trying to hit that piece of steel. And there is a big difference. When I had a chat the other night, and the guy was like 308 all day long. He's got more killing power. I'm not trying to kill this piece of steel. I'm just trying to hit this piece of steel.
Right. Yeah. Completely different uses. Right.
I see Armin and Axis is asking if you crimp your rounds, and I don't. Never have. I've shot thousands and thousands of semi-auto rounds, and as long as you got good neck tension, that's the key. Your neck tension is good. Personally, I don't crimp, and I crimping is heavily dependent on the length of your brass. If you got inconsistencies on the length of your brass, you're going to have inconsistencies on your neck tension, and inconsistencies on your neck tension is going to be inconsistencies of your velocity. Right. And one round that crimps harder, it's going to hit higher on the paper. So, Here's my question: if you crimp, do you have to wear like a blue bandana or a red bandana?
Okay.
Now,
All right.
I'm just like Todd. I don't crimp, and there was somebody else that I heard. I didn't get a chance to answer it,
Mhm.
but they said you can just go and pick up, military ammo whenever they get done training. Don't ever pick up machine gun ammo. Okay, that stuff's so blown out. You're gonna have all kinds of issues. I can't tell you how many buckets and buckets of 5.56 and 308 I've passed down because I did it once and I was like, heck with this. I mean,
So
it's
you-
so blown out.
You don't shoot Lake City brass at all?
I do shoot Lake City, but you got to be careful of what it was shot out of when it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Because if it was an old, 240, or if it was an old, 249 saw, and let's say this chamber is just, it's got the clearance, okay?
Yeah.
It's so
Headspace.
blown out, you almost can't even size some of it down. So, it's good for brass scrap, I guess, but just be careful picking up machine gun ammo.
See, that's
Then-
all I shoot in my my Rock River 20-inch bull barrels, Lake City. And you're right, I get it, and it's usually a big box of 1,000 pieces, and the headspace on it is ungodly. And sometimes I actually got to run it through my sizer twice when I initially get it.
Yep.
Sometimes 3 times, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I really got to bump the headspace an insane amount from
Yeah.
where I get it from. So
Yeah, I'm looking right here at 3 5-gallon buckets full of 5.56, and it's just I don't know if I want the headache of sizing that stuff and bumping it back so much because it was definitely machine gun ammo.
Yeah. By the way, before I forget this and move on from the comments, TB is in here, one of your guys. He says if you ever watch X-Ring on his videos, he does go into detail on a lot of his videos, and you will learn a lot on scopes loading as well. Okay. So,
Yeah,
there you go.
TV's a good one. He comments a lot. He tries to get on any of the chats. My biggest thing, and these guys will know, I try to share the knowledge. It's not a secret. Any tips or tricks that I could share with anyone trying to get into long range, I will answer them to the best of my ability. And if I don't know, I will say I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good resource for anyone out there who's interested in that. You can actually reach out to these guys before they get like 10 million YouTube subscribers or something, and then they're too busy to answer. What is this? What are we showing off here?
Jerry Parker says LR 118. See, M118 LR is an okay round. It's a 175 308 round, 175 grain. It is not the most accurate. Yes, it's a military cartridge and it's decent, but it's not great.
Yeah. Let me see. What was the other thing? Okay, someone out there got my joke. Schmitz and Giggles says the new gang wars. Crimps versus Fuds. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out where. Now, I have seen some of your knife videos lately. Some of your. Now, do you actually work for these guys? Do you work for the?
I do. I just signed on
Microtech
full
guys?
time with Microtech.
Yeah, I was about to say. So I don't know how to make all of these deploy at the same time, so I'm gonna go like 2 at a time on mine. Bam.
Oh, you got a Hellhound. I think I saw a Hellhound blade.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's in this one. I don't know.
Yes, that's it.
I,
Yep. That is a Hellhound Microtech. Where did you acquire those? I didn't know you were a knife guy.
I'm getting into knives. That's why I was watching your video. See. So
Awesome.
And the thing is that I just recently, like maybe I don't know, 6 months ago, started getting into Microtechs. I got this in a trade. I got that one in a trade. This one used to belong to Lola, but it's now mine anyway. So
Nice.
there you go. What is this?
Ultratech,
Yeah,
two.
Ultratech. There you go. And this one I actually got. There's this place in. What's the name of the place in Vegas, Lola? There's a place.
PVK. Through Josh.
PDK.
Yeah.
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 So there you
He
go.
does a lot of lasering and everything else. That's not a cut. That's not a normal Microtech lasering on that.
No, that's the Hank Strange broadcast logo actually in there.
Nice. Yeah.
All over this
So
one.
I just signed at the beginning of this year with Microtech. I did a bunch
Mhm.
of the torture test videos, and I used to shoot for Microtech back when they were doing some of the the matches. Now they're still heavily involved with sponsoring matches. They are actually the title sponsor for the Pro-Am this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they sponsor Memorial 3-Gun, which is a great event for an even greater cause for fallen Special Forces soldiers. They'll basically give all the proceeds to 10 families from fallen SF soldiers. So Microtech, big hats off to them. They've supported me a lot with the shooting. I mean, there's so many different companies that have helped me along the way. But yeah, just signed a deal with them, so I'm assisting them with some videos and things like that.
That's very cool.
Thank you. And they just started. They just started a YouTube channel, Microtech Knives, and so one of my first ideas was personalize some of the employees with the company, and just show the whole process of how Microtech is built from start to finish. And so that was kind of my brainchild. That's getting ready to get wrapped up, and so we'll have to do another one.
Hey, Hank, does this look familiar?
Tops Knives. Oh yeah, that looks very familiar. Oh, that's that's a really good looking knife. What's that one called?
That's the Fieldcraft 3.5. They just sent it to me to do a review on.
Oh,
and I actually
cool.
I talked to him after he was on your channel. So I actually sent them an email, and this will be my first knife review. So I'm looking forward to it. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, very cool, man. That's a good looking knife too.
Yeah, and it's really heavy duty. It's got a nice weight to it, and
what's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of that particular knife? Is that like a hunting knife or?
Yeah, this would be like an all-purpose. If you're out in the woods, you field dress a deer. It's an all-purpose. Like a camping knife. Personally, I would have no issues using this to field dress a deer. But yeah, this. I'm not huge in the knives, but I definitely want to get in the knife reviews, and I think this would be a good start. So, great guys, great company, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they make cool stuff. Look, I'll take out a. Look, I got a Tops Knives for you if you really want to go there. Boom!
Oh, you always got to bust out the bigger knife, don't you, buddy?
I think this is the Bushcrafter right here, the Bushcrafter Kukri. That's a knife. I don't, I mean that was a nice knife you had there. Very nice. But that's
nice
not. This is a knife. This is a knife right there, buddy. Go ahead.
Comes with a nice Kydex sheath there. It's got a nice audible click.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so just getting back to X-Ring now. You're working for Microtech. So wait, let's see. Hold on a second here.
Let's see if you guys figure out who makes this.
Huh.
It is not a Microtech.
Okay.
It is not.
That's a Tonto blade on there, right? Or no? Is that a Tonto blade? That's about what I know.
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, yeah, I like that one too. Nice, sturdy looking Tonto blade in there.
Yeah, this is actually made by Borka, and that is by not the tools, but Sebastian Berengi and Borka Knives. He's done some collaborations with Microtech. That's where the stitch came from, the Microtech stitch. That was originally a Sebastian design, but that is one of his SBKs.
Oh, okay.
Those are extremely pricey.
Yeah.
For thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name before. Borka. Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Super great guy.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You're working for Microtech now, so does that mean that we get a discount? What?
Come on, Ray. Come on, buddy.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah. How long before we've had Microtech on the show?
Some reviews that don't get demonetized right away.
Yes, you actually did. You had Corey Campbell on the show.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, and I think he actually back in the day when we could actually hold firearms. I think he had one of the Combat Masters on the channel as well.
I think so. I'm trying to remember. He had a lot. He had a really some. What do they call the custom line from Microtech again? The Marfione Customs. I mean, that was a great show. We need to actually. He's still there, right?
Oh yeah, I talk to Corey every day. We're good friends.
Yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him to come back on the show. We'll probably have you on. We'll just do all knives, everything knives.
I'll tell you something interesting about Corey. Corey is a huge tennis player. And I don't mean like a little bit. I mean like we're talking really, really, really good tennis player.
Okay.
And I grew up doing the exact same. I had a partial scholarship in college, and so we went and played tennis.
Oh, nice.
We had a great time, legit. We're not talking about dinking the ball. We're talking, good stuff.
I like tennis, but just for looking at the ladies play tennis. That's about it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's.
I'm more of a badminton kind of guy.
Oh, badminton. Okay. Right. No, that's cool. Listen, I mean, I think that's cool that you're working over there, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff. I'm trying to remember which one. I saw you torture testing the living crap out of something with. Is your six? What was that knife I saw you torture testing? I think
Oh,
it's
man.
like one of these that I have. It was something you got from them, and you were like hammering it into
Okay,
the
so this one
table.
right
Oh,
is
okay.
the actual one, but I have to
Okay.
cover. Do you see how badly this thing is all torn up?
Yeah,
I
this
have
is
Okay, so I have to cover some information on the backside.
okay.
Yeah, I still have it. I have all the knives from the torture test. They're just right over here.
Okay.
And matter of fact, the fixed blade, yeah, it's right here. This was the SOCOM Alpha Mini. The one that I set on fire was the Combat Troodon.
Right. Yes.
All my tests are 100% legit. I usually have Rick with me when I do it, and people are like, "There's no way that did." Yes, it is. My word is all I've got. That's all any of us have.
Oh, I believe you. I mean, how could you look at that and think this? I don't know how you stage any of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he posted, and I shot the blade and split the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, "There's no way you did that." Well, no, Rick didn't. I did. So, but he put it on his video and didn't show any of the shooting, and so it didn't get demonetized. And of course, mine.
Yeah. That's too bad. I think that's good stuff. How? Couple of questions here that we have for you while we're on the knife subject. Okay. So one, how long before we get an X-Ring branded Microtech? Just need to
That
know.
probably will never happen.
No.
You know what? I could probably, if I order enough of them, I could probably do that. It's funny you should mention that. I finally took it upon myself to attempt to get into this merchandise thing. So I just had a bunch of hats made. They're nice. They're not cheap looking. Not as much as I wanted to spend on a hat, but I wanted.
If you want the good stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of effort to get that merch. I got some T-shirts made. I didn't think it'd be that difficult, and it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They had to print it like 5 times. I was like, no, that's not right. That's not what I want. San Miguel says, dang, $600 to $1,000 knives. That would be a start, San Miguel, because you can get into some of the customs, like the Masterpiece, or some of these other ones that are $3,000 to about $7,000. Okay, so
it's just like the gun world. It's just like the gun world. You can get real expensive in guns. I think, but Microtechs I think are worth it. The only one that I bought out, like I bought this cash from that whatever that was. I already forgot the acronym. PVK. There you go. I bought this outright from those guys there and had it customized. But these two knives, I just traded stuff.
Nice.
And that's how like big the Microtech thing is, that you can trade with people and all of that. And I think this one came in really, really messed up, and I sent it back to Microtech, and they cleaned it up for us and all that kind of stuff. So that's where you get me. Like, I think obviously you spend money, but when you get a good quality product and they take care of you on it, it's worth it. So what are we looking at there? See the...
That's all I can show you, because this is the only one.
Oh, okay. So is this the prototype? This is the prototype of the X-Ring version that's coming out?
No. There is no such thing. I haven't even discussed that with them. If I buy enough, I'm sure they would let me, but I'm
calling it right. Listen, if you need to promote it, you come back here on the show. We'll help you out. Everybody will use their social media, We'll help you.
Sneak peek at a blade. We provide that knife. It's never been seen by public, to a special group, and they're the only ones that have it, period, other than myself and the owner. I was fortunate enough to be able to get one of those, and it's very rare. So,
what's the owner's name again?
Marfione?
Marfione.
Yeah.
No, that's the big, bulky beard.
No,
that guy in your videos is someone else, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jason McCoy. That is not the owner.
Yeah, that's one colossal dude, man.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna need more than a knife to take that dude on.
Yeah, Rick calling me names. Jason is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. Strong Christian guy. I mean, just super, super nice.
Awesome, awesome. So, let me see here. What was it? I was going to ask you something. Oh, what about the John Wick series? I know those are not. You cannot find those anymore. The John Wick Microtechs.
Those are done, and it's funny because I actually had one of the Continental sets, serial number 1, but I'm not a collector. I'm a user of knives, and so I actually gave it back to the owner. I said, "You need to sell this. I just don't want it just sitting in the safe. I don't have a gun.
You
don't
could
shoot.
have you could have torture tested the come
Yeah,
on.
no, not happening.
I'm sure Hank would have helped you with that.
Yeah, I'll help you.
He would have chopped a 4x4
This
in half
right in
for
the
you.
pocket.
Harry's Holsters wants to know what knife for your daily use. And then San Miguel was mentioning buck knives and things like that. I am not, so anything that I'm into, before you say what you use daily, anything that I'm into, I do not discriminate on. Okay? This is what I believe in life. Don't discriminate against the ladies. Don't discriminate against cars, guns, knives, any of those things that I'm into. I like them all.
That's right.
Yeah. What was the question? Oh, what's your daily use knife?
My daily use has always been a SOCOM Elite Auto. So I was carrying Microtech before I worked for them or did any of these torture tests. I've got one that I've been carrying now for exactly 20 years. I was told by the guys at Microtech that knife needs to be retired because they can't sharpen it anymore. They said it's sharpened so much, the blade is starting to lose its feel.
Make it into a comb.
Yeah, I need to be like the beard comb.
Hold on a second. Is there a out the front comb for Microtech? I know some.
Yes,
there is. Right. Yeah.
It's called beard comb.
Yeah, the beard comb. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jason McCoy actually, the big guy that's on the videos, that usually comes with beard oil, and his wife actually makes that beard oil.
Oh, interesting. Oh, very cool. Very cool. I'm trying to grow out my beard, so I'll need some beard oil.
Yeah, I can't. So you guys can keep the beards. This is all
you're set for this coronavirus, man. Apparently, beards. Yeah. If you have a beard, you will die in the coronavirus outbreak. Apparently, that's what I saw somewhere. Rocky Mountain Bear says Hank needs the Mandalorian Microtech. I'm sure someone's gonna make. There probably will be some kind of Mandalorian Microtech out there.
Well, we have the bounty hunter. They're looking. Well, you know what? I'm not allowed to discuss.
Don't get in trouble.
Don't get yourself in trouble,
buddy. Trouble or anything, but
because we need that discount, man. You need to maintain over there at Microtech so we get now.
I know Harrison. I met him many times. It really depends on what he's looking for in regards to what he's doing with the knife. Okay. Look, I understand that Microtech is known for and makes some of the best out the fronts in the world, if not the best. However, I like a classic switchblade because I don't have to worry about sand or grit or anything else. Now, these knives are completely reliable. These out the fronts are reliable, but they require a little more maintenance. You can't get sand into the action. You have to service them. Just like your concealed carry pistol,
Yeah.
If you're carrying a 1911, you're going to have to service it a little more than that Glock that you can carry for a year with 2 pounds of lint.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I was about to say that, man. My Glock always has lint in it.
Exactly.
And it's still fine. Like half my jeans wind up in the Glock.
That's it.
I don't know how that's possible.
Or looking for light.
Yeah, I always thought that was just me, man. There was the lit magnet for the.
Oh, that's everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Well, and I think that's something that happens to you with Kydex, especially, right? So, if we ever want to get into the thing, that's one of the things of that. Jackson says, "I'm poor. My EDC's cold steel. What do you guys think? Like I know Elfsters, when it comes to knives and stuff like that, you're not necessarily dropping a lot of money.
No,
what's your
this is all
philosophy?
this is all new to me. I mean, I really, be honest with you, I'd never carry a knife. I'm not an expert on knives, but I want to get into it and I want to start. And you got to start somewhere. So, like I said, I contact Tops Knives and I'm like, hey, I want to start somewhere with a knife review, and especially something that's, I wouldn't say is YouTube friendly, but it seems like the second you shoot a gun in any video, it's instantly demonetized. So I want to try and, I'm not getting way off the beaten path, but I definitely want to start somewhere. And I think this, this field knife, this this Fieldcraft 3.5, I think it's going to be a good start for me. So
Yeah, I think
Hey,
that's a
Tom,
good knife.
it's,
It's
I'm sorry.
utilitarian. Go ahead.
Yep.
It is funny you should mention that because when YouTube was hitting me hard and also demonetizing when I requested the review, and it was just no, all the way across us.
Mhm.
That's how the whole torture test on Microtech came about. I said, you know what? Heck with the guns. Let me go ahead and throw some knife torture tests out there and see what happens.
Mhm.
Sure enough, they did yellow, but then after requesting the review, they went green.
Mhm.
That's where all this stuff originated. Was Rick and I were talking. They're killing our channel.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny is, I went out to SHOT Show and I did an insane amount of videos right
Mhm.
out of the gate. I think I did almost 15 videos at SHOT Show,
Mhm.
and every single one was monetized other than one. And all my other videos, I'm flipping a gun around, I'm doing whatnot, and the Athlon booth is the one that got demonetized. It makes sense
Athlon.
for that.
What was
Athlon scopes. All I was
Really?
I was just holding a scope, and I
Yeah.
asked for review, and they still demonetized.
It's kind of random. I mean, I'll tell you guys right now, I put up videos where I'm just talking. I just shot a video here today talking about, I don't know, Lola will tell me if it's turned on or not. But I just put up a video talking about Eminem did an interview recently, which he doesn't do a lot of interviews. But it was about an hour long, and he put out this album called Music to Murder People By, right? And one of the first songs on there is called Darkness. Basically, it's talking about what happened in Vegas. And in this interview, the guy, which is one of his own guys, is a rapper, was one of his own, someone that signed to his label, was interviewing him. He asked him about the whole gun thing, and Eminem was talking about how he doesn't think anyone needs 150 guns. Right? So, yeah, I had to... Huh?
Whatever said the guy that profits off videos in the past based off guns.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of things that he's done in that where he's like threatened people on records. He actually assaulted someone with a gun before. I think it was empty, so he just got probation. But Eminem's done a whole bunch of craziness. The guy he was talking to is like a gangster rapper and all that kind of. I'm not against any of that. I've done things in the hip hop realm myself, right? But I had to make a video responding to that. And I'm telling you that even just a video of me talking gets demonetized. So it's very random of what it is, of what it is that triggers that thing. You really, really be surprised at what's going on over there. And sometimes it feels like specific people just get tagged and everything they do, you get hit. Or if you get hit, then from then on, they just keep following you. And somehow you fall into a category. Lots of weird things going on out there. And I think ultimately, what is this all about, this stuff that we do, right? It's about where somehow, other than using these things for practical purposes, like you do, like X-Ring does, we love this stuff, right? We enjoy it. We feel passionate about it. We have a desire that picks us up and drives us to go out there and test stuff and shoot things and find out and mess around, experiment with things. And we have to not let that fire get put out by all this nonsense that these people are doing.
And it's sad. Like the second you have a firearm, it just goes bang, it's done. And but it's not going to stop me. I don't care. You demonetize them all. I'm just going to keep on going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we just have to find ways to to figure out how to do what we're doing here. I'm sorry.
talking about SHOT Show, I was hoping to run into you guys out there, and
I never saw you at SHOT Show. I don't think
I feel like you were
Ray either.
avoiding me, Hank. Were you avoiding me?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was there. But SHOT Shows are it's just one of these things, right? It's so big, it's so massive. Everyone's running around doing stuff, and people just go like this, or never see each other. So
it was my first year. I actually enjoyed it, other than getting stupid sick when I got home. I mean, a whole different level of sickness when I came home. The very first day I got back, oh my gosh, it's like it took the cold and the flu and put it together and times it by 10.
Coronavirus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you are patient zero.
Yeah. Talking about that, my girlfriend's prepping up. My reload room's in the basement here, and you don't see it, but behind here is nothing but shelving units, and
right.
She went and cleared one out, and she's already prepping away, baby.
So maybe this is a good thing to talk about, since the coronavirus, I guess, is going to be real for us here in America. It's been real. Yeah. What are you guys doing to prep for all of this?
Well, yesterday I
anything?
was at work, and she started texting me, and she's talk about face masks. You think we should buy some face masks? I'm like, well, let's talk about this when we get home. I'm at work.
It's too late for that.
So I get home, and so we start talking about it, and we eat dinner, and then this Trump goes on, this live broadcast of, this, that, and the other, and has some experts, and they did say, it's not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it happens. And there is the potential it could be bad, but it was immediately after that we went to the local Menards and stockpiled with water and God knows what else, because it had to be done. But I don't know. I said, as long as we get stuff that I know we're eventually going to use anyways, it's fine. But I don't know. Who knows if it's being blown up proportion or not? It's hard to say. I mean, you look at what's going on in Italy right now. Some of those places are literal ghost towns, and China, Hong Kong, South Korea is very, very bad right now. And I've seen a couple of videos where they're doing drills, stopping people at on the road and testing their temperature, and if their temperature is too high, they're pulling them over and they're testing them out right there. I mean, it's a scary
China doesn't
situation.
mess around. Yeah, they're locking. Yeah. They need to lock it down. I mean, it could have an effect on them. A couple things. So one of these days this week, we had Paul Chiappa from Battle Arms Development on the show, and he said he's going to IWA, right? The what is that again? The International Weapons, whatever. What does IWA stand for? I had it pulled up here. I'll try to bring it up again. So anyway, he said he was going to the IWA show, and then he was going to he was gonna, I think, go to Italy.
No,
so
you don't want to go to Italy.
Well, it's interesting that I know the Firearms blog has an article talking about how IWA Outdoor Classic and Enforced TAC 2020 postponed due to coronavirus concerns.
Well, there's that lady in California, first diagnosed case in California. Yeah. And it sounds like they're pushing off the incubation period for longer. They first initially started out, I think it was like 5-6 days. Now they're saying it's almost 2 weeks. Yeah. Well, these pandemics where it takes a long incubation time, those are the dangerous ones because you can't catch them right away. And this lady, it sounds like she went almost 2 weeks without being known, and God knows how many people she came in interaction with. And for all you know, that's the start right there in the United States. And it is scary, and it could be potentially bad. Maybe we should be stocking up, but I don't know. I figured as long as we're getting products that we can eventually use anyways, I think it would be a start like water and whatever. So.
I think people should be preparing all the time. That's my personal thing about it. Because there's massive events that could happen, right? But there's the event, the more likely thing to happen is the event in your life, okay? The crisis in your life where you get fired or you have some massive expense and then you just don't have money to do other things for whatever reason. So that's a thing that people should always prep for and have like canned goods and water and things like that around, in my opinion. When stuff like this happens and it becomes news, it's already too late. So I could tell you, like, Lola works at a hospital here in Gainesville. There's no masks anymore. That's over and done with, right? There's a massive run going on those things. And as this news builds up out there, I think they said that basically on the planet, I was looking at, I think, Tucker Carlson, and he was talking about how on the planet, 70% of us are going to get the coronavirus. It's not going to kill everyone, but even if it kills, let's say 0.5% of people, that might be 27 million people. It's going to actually just become just like the regular virus, like the flu.
Well, they're saying now preliminary death rates is 2%. You're talking 2 out of every 100. Yeah. So, I mean, it's serious. And is there the chance that you're probably going to meet a family member or a friend of a friend that has passed away, and there is the potential for that, and it's, I think, something you should take serious. But I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Ray? What do you think about it?
I was actually trying to pull something up. I have a friend of mine that is a doctor out in Arizona, and we were having a conversation. I'm trying to pull the exact date up here. It was about 4 weeks. No, it was January the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, this was January the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
It was at 6:52, and he said, "Public health emergency for novel coronavirus." That was January 30th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was before it was even in the news or anything else, and he got that warning and shared it with me when I was texting him. We were talking about some other stuff, and at the time, I had not even heard of it on January the 30th. I mean, it wasn't in the news or anything else. And he said, shouldn't be hit too hard by the virus. We already have a case here. 30th.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Because it's by the time they figure these things out, people have already traveled all over the world and stuff has moved around. And we're going to get these things. Like, I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as everyone thinks. I see someone saying that, like, on certain sides of politics or news or whatever, they're happy because they think this is going to be a bad thing for the administration or whatever's going on there. Ultimately, this happens. Like, these things don't care who's president or whatever the hell is going on. Things like this happen, and there's really not a lot we could do about it. We could just, what are you going to do? Stay home, hide in your house, and, like, tape up the windows? We're just not there. I think we just have to go about our everyday. If you get sick, go to the hospital. Follow instructions.
The coronavirus isn't something new. The coronavirus has been around forever. This is just a mutation of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, they're saying if you do get sick, at least preliminary wise, you're pretty much going to be boarding yourself up in your house for a minimum of 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? I mean, you're seeing it right now in Italy. Business are shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
Schools are shutting down. The streets are pretty much a ghost town in some areas, especially in northern Italy. To see something like that hit the United States, God forbid it ever does, you're really going to see a massive hit in the stock market. I don't know. God forbid that happens, and let's pray it doesn't. But I think you should prepare for it. But I mean, the question is when? When do you prepare for it? Do you wait until it's a crisis?
So what I'm saying is, I think if you're talking about waiting until it's a crisis, we're already past that. Because whenever everyone realizes it and starts talking about it, we're already there. The thing is,
when I'm saying a crisis, like, people are lining up at the grocery stores and wiping those shelves clean. At what point? And if that does happen, it's going to be probably overnight. It's not something where it's going to be eventual build up to it. It's most likely going to be like within a day or two.
I think it depends where it is. I mean, I've heard in California they're already just buying up all the the freeze-dried food, all that kind of stuff. I think people are already doing all of that. So if you haven't been doing that all this time, to go out now and try to, like, panic and buy it online or do whatever, you're going to probably already see all those prices kicking up. But ultimately, the number one thing when things go wrong, I don't know, this is just me. When things go wrong, that's when you need to, like, slow down and breathe and pay attention to everything that's going on, instead of, like, going into panic mode. But I think it's just like how people are programmed. I'm sure, Ray, you can jump in here anytime. There's certain, I think that when everyone else knows about it, or everyone else is already talking about it like we are, it's kind of, you're already on the doorstep of too late. So now you just have to keep moving and just make sure that you're slowing down everything that you're doing and thinking about everything that you're doing. And ultimately, we're here in America versus being somewhere else. If you're sick, go to the doctor, go to the hospital, follow instructions, let them test you. It's more than likely just the flu. Right? So you got the flu, you deal with that, you move on. If we really get to that panic stage, especially us, like, in this community, it's not like no one's been saying be prepared for things way before they happen.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend used this new Walmart pickup system where you can order online, and you drive up to the Walmart and you say you're there and they instantly bring it out for you. And she says it's great. But she did that with some water and some basics. And the lady came out, pushed out the cart, helped load up her vehicle, and she's like, "Can I ask what you're doing? Like, what do you use this for?" She says, "Well, I'm preparing." And she's like, "Well, you're not the first." So.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the thing that you could do. And a lot of it depends on where you are. So, like, what part of the country you're in. You know, are you in the country? Are you in the city? You know, what would happen to you where you are? Like, if you're thinking about food and stuff like that, you know, where you are, can you get food from others? There's like so much that goes into this that I think at this point, if for most people out there, if you really didn't think about it, the thing that you need to do, be clean. Think about what you're doing. If you're sick or someone in your family is sick, or even people at work suggest they go get checked out, it's really quick for them to figure out whether or not you have the flu. I had it like right before we went to SHOT Show. And I actually had the flu, lost it. It came back because I did like what I'm trying to tell everyone don't do. I was like, whatever, it'll be fine. And then so I had it, lost it. It came back. Then I decided, let me go to the doctor. They tested me. They're like, okay, you've got the flu, you know, and then we took care of that situation. If it's not that and you have the coronavirus, you do what they tell you to do.
And the scary part is they're saying you can be a carrier of the coronavirus and not show any symptoms. And that's a pretty dangerous recipe for a pandemic. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a prepper, or never have, but I figured as long as we get some products I know we'll eventually use that anyways, I guess I'm game, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. So what do you...
Yeah, it was fun in the office today. You were talking about the EWA show. They already had 3 people scheduled to go over there, you know, because we've been over there every year for the last couple of years. And they were like, we're not worried about it. They're just blowing this out of proportion. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. I'm not worried about it. I was like, okay, well, I don't go to that show. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not going. Well, sure enough, the owner comes in and says, I'm not going to take the chance. No one's going. And of course, you know, everybody's like, man, we're supposed to leave next Wednesday. Well, here it is. They postpone the show, you know.
Well, because think about it logically, probably not a good time to leave America.
No, and you know, if I were scheduled to be on that plane, it's one of those, I don't want to be on a plane breathing that recirculated air over in Europe. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe anyway. Anybody, you can ask, is your 6 covered? Every single door in my truck has hand sanitizer in it. It's just, I'm insane with it. It's like,
you know, that's where the zombie apocalypse is coming from, right? That hand sanitizer, man.
Hand sanitizer, we are in trouble.
Yeah, that's what's going to cause it. You're going zombie first. Rick better watch his back for reals, not just the name.
Someone knows I drink a lot of Diet Coke, and they sent me a link today saying that Diet Coke supplies will be affected because half of the stuff that's sourced from overseas.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious? And I was like, well, I'm good. I've got like 50 cases of this. I'm worse than Rick with his Pure Leaf. Okay?
How about your Krispy Kremes? Is that the Krispy Kremes going to get hit there?
I don't have a manufacturing facility for that, but I've got about cases of these.
I hope you learn how to make your own donuts then.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy.
Do that.
Yeah.
So it seems like every time I watch an X-Ring video, is your 6 covered in the background with a bottle of iced tea, and he's chomping on a Krispy Kreme.
Well, we're literally neighbors, so you know, he's like, "What are you doing today?" Nothing today. You'll make a video? Sure.
You want to shoot some guns?
That's it. I mean, you know, get some video in the can. You know, shout out to Aries. I see John Crump out there. I see Aries Training Facility out there. Shout out to those guys. Let's see. Were there any other questions that we didn't get to? I don't know if we've gotten enough coronavirus stuff.
I see there was some person that asked X-Ray if he shoots a 50 BMG, which in my opinion is the most inaccurate round on the man.
I had like 3 of them. There's no place to shoot them that allows it unless you go to a 50 BMG range. And the thing is as a rule, they're not that accurate.
Oh, they're terribly accurate.
Yeah, I mean, and so, you know, even 338 Lapua, you know, I had quite a few of those, sold all of those because most of your ranges won't allow it. It kills the steel.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
I think most people would rather have if you're shooting long distance, it'd be like a Shy Tac or something, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than a 50 BMG. It's the most not the well, it's expensive, but the most inaccurate
50 is
round.
just fun, man. It's just a big bada boom.
Unless you got a
I love it.
Modus hooked up to your Jeep,
Yeah.
that's about it. So
By the way,
Yeah.
I shoot 50. There you go. Boom. It's a nice big round, but yeah,
Okay,
if you
Flying Rich asked you a question, Todd.
oh, I see. So what kind of lube do I use? So
yeah, don't take
yeah.
that seriously.
Yeah, no, I can show you actually. I got it in this
Oh.
stats down here.
Oh boy. Yeah. What?
Get those hands up there, Todd.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I think so. On the subject of 50, I think it's a good, like, if nice big round, fun to shoot or whatever. I've seen it could stop stuff. I guess I've seen it stop engines and things like that. But
Well, put it this way:
depends on what you're trying to do with it. Like you guys said before, right? If you're trying to do accuracy at long distance and all that, you're probably looking for something else.
if you're watching these guys that are now shooting 3 miles, they're not using 50 BMG. So yeah, it's gonna be some type of shy tack most likely or whatever.
What's the practical purpose of 50? Is it used in the military? What's the?
Yeah, it's just a Modus, armor piercing tank type thing. That's about it.
Yeah, the
So-
juice says 50 BMG out of a bolt rifle is accurate. I had 2 that were not accurate. So, and that's with hand loads and everything else. It's okay, but it's not like a precision rifle.
No.
But then again, it goes a lot further as well. So,
Everything, it's a balance of everything. Depends what you really want to do. The weight, all that kind of stuff. So
So I got a question for you, Hank. How's your car channel doing, man? You ever thought about doing like a collaboration with like Tactical Toolbox or anything, buddy?
yeah, I would like. Actually, I was at SEMA show end of last year, with Jonathan from Tactical Toolbox. Him, myself, and Walter, we all went out there. Obviously, I know he's doing like fantastically with his channel because he's just really OCD and has everything under control.
No, it looks like he started out with like a Civic or something.
Yeah,
right?
Civic Type R that he's working
Yeah.
on, that he's hooking up, which is looking really badass. Mine, I have more videos than I've actually finished editing and put up on mine. Like, I think someone was asking me about my R8 that I had, whether or not I did a whole big video on it, which I shot all the video, but I never had time to actually put that all together. Don't even have that car anymore. I actually have a RS5 Coupe right now, and I have a Suzuki Samurai as well. And I'm trying to work on that stuff and get it done, and every now and then I put out something. But the bigger focus for me is all of this stuff that I'm doing here. So I appreciate people going there, checking out the channel, subscribing. We are shooting content for that all the time. We're going to continue to do that. Hopefully I do get to do something with Jonathan, some kind of collaboration.
Yeah, it's really hard to start out, I think, as a car channel, and you got to build your way up, kind of like what Jonathan's doing.
Well, I mean,
there.
and like for me, I'm running 3 separate YouTube channels plus social media. So I've got Hank Strange, and we're putting up videos there all the time. Then we have this, which we're putting up videos Monday to Friday, this live show, and then we're stripping out the audio, and that's going up, and there's a whole process involved with that. So, I mean, these are things that I'm into, and I'm passionate about it.
Have you heard of any like videos from car channels getting demonetized for some stupid reason?
I've heard that YouTube across the board, people get demonetized. Yes.
Oh, really?
It depends on what you say, all kinds of different things, like what's in your titles and your description, what kind of tags you're using. But as gun people, we're not the only people getting demonetized, so far as I know. Now, obviously, some people have it easier. I know yesterday's episode, we had Brandon Herrera, the AK guy. He was here on the show, and he was saying that there's probably some like worse stuff coming down the line from YouTube. Obviously, they had all this COPPA stuff. That's the reason now why you gotta certify this is not for kids and all that. And who knows? There's gonna be lots of other things coming from YouTube and all these platforms here in the future. And what I think we need to do about it all is just figure out how we're gonna survive and get through all of that. So,
God, you wouldn't think it could possibly get any worse.
Yeah, Harry's Holster says guns are $500 ish. Cheap cars are $5,000 if you buy old and used. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. The biggest part of it is what do you focus on, right? So if you decided to focus on something, you could do well with that. I'm not dropping this gun thing yet. They're gonna have to like drag me kicking and screaming out of here. So.
So what else are you doing there, X-Ring, when you're not shooting guns? I mean, do you have any other hobbies that you're?
Yeah, a lot of different things, but yeah, just shoot guns a lot.
Yeah. Probably can't talk about it. Probably can't.
Yeah,
talk about
he's a really secretive kind of guy.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different things that I do. I mean, and the guys that live around me know. I mean, yeah, that doesn't matter. I got my hands in all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most of us do, right? Just being a dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We're just always into different things.
I started the channel. It was supposed to be motorcycles and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I did one video, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're gonna be." And I don't watch YouTube that often, but what's Nuttin' Fancy? Didn't he start doing a lot of KTM's or something?
Yeah, Nuttin' Fancy's always been into bikes and stuff. Yeah, and cars.
Yeah. Someone said,
He's
"Oh,
huge in the knives."
This is gonna be another Nuttin' Fancy channel." And I was like, you know what? And some of my friends advised me. They were like, "Just stick to guns. Don't branch out." I don't know if I buy into that. I think I want to branch out a little bit.
I don't buy into that. I think follow your interests and your passion. Yeah. That's the thing to do. I know when I started doing this like 7 years ago, you could put all the things on one channel. I find now, so I would just do it seasonally. When the time came for me to go do tech stuff or when I was into cars or whatever, I could put it up. It was fine. I find now that the way that everything's working, you kind of have to separate it. But look, if this is what you're into and you already have the cameras and everything, you've already figured out how to edit and all that, just do it at your own pace. And as long as you're having fun, go with that. Because if you do just guns, when you burn out on that, what is going to pull you out of that burnout and stop you from giving up? Some other interest that you're like, oh, let me do this a little bit. And then that'll reinvigorate. When you go over to that thing, then you'll start missing the guns and you'll come back and do more. It's just how we work as human beings, I think.
Yeah.
So at least capture it. At least get the video. That's what I do. I shoot a lot of videos with stuff. Can't get to everything and edit it. I just put up a video on my channel of me and Lola and some other folks who went out with Barnauls, and we were on Ox Ranch and Drive Tanks in Texas, which was freaking awesome. But I was shooting a howitzer in that video. That's 2 years old. I just put it up, I don't know, yesterday. but we did that 2 years ago.
So I do have a good question for you, X-Ring. You posted a video, I think it was like an MP5 full auto, and I think you had like, what was it, suppressed?
Yes, sir. I think I had the CGS.
Are those all your NFA firearms, or are you like?
I manage a huge inventory of NFA items. That's all I can say.
Okay. Come on.
Very nice. Very nice.
Spill the beans, buddy.
Yeah. It kind of like what Hank just now said about filming something 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I have so many videos that I completely edited and just never threw them up. I mean, they're just sitting. But I mean, machine guns out the wazoo. But then I started seeing that nobody cared about the machine guns. Those didn't get the views. Yeah, sure. Two-handing a Glock 18, it might get some views, or maybe the MP7A1. But nobody really cares. Where it's at for my channel was the precision rifle stuff. It is the huge segment of my channel, and I just kind of did away with the machine gun stuff. I mean, I'll throw one in there every once in a while. Just who watches it? Gamers. They're all game. Everybody's like pub, PUBG. I can't even pronounce it because I'm not
you don't know
a
what
gamer.
they're talking.
Oh, I'm like, okay, and the guy was like, you 8x scope on that. I'm like, you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's one thing, the way that YouTube does work now. If you get known for something, then that's what you're going to get the best results, because the algorithm sees that, okay, this is a long distance shooting, and so it's going to suggest that based on what everyone else is looking at. So that's why I'm saying now you might have to separate those things to really do it. But it's on top of all of that, it's very tough to know what's the thing. That's why you just have to follow whatever you're into, and figure out why you're doing this. And all of this is actually still evolving. Like we think there's everything, all the ground rules and everything for this are set. They're all in flux. we're not really that deep into this. We're not even 20 years into this YouTube thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
so
and I thoroughly enjoyed like your suppressor review, so like that switchback you just did too. I mean,
Yeah, see, that's another one. That one's edited, and I never had a chance to put it out. But the actual test, the full test, is a good one. I haven't gotten around to it. It's been real busy, you know, because of the Bushnell and all of that. The suppressor stuff is kind of neat, but just the machine gun stuff, you know, then I got to clean them and all this other stuff.
What kind of accessories are you guys getting into lately? Just to turn this conversation in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Any cool
Thank
accessories? I know the last time you were on, you said that you're coming out with the torque kit, and I think as your 6 was talking about it, I think that's out, right?
Yes, and it's not mine. It's by Borka Tools. That is Boris and Kay, and it is his design, but he named a certain kit after me. It's just going to be the initials RH, and basically it is their full-blown kit with every single option. And so that's out. That is it.
Do we get to see it? Can we see it here? Do you have one around?
I actually have it in my truck.
Oh, it's in the truck. Okay.
It's in the truck.
Yeah. Is your 6 might have it? He might have gotten it.
Actually, he bought one. He did buy one.
What do you guys? What is it selling for?
The RH kit. So basically,
where can I find it? I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up on the screen. Just tell me.
ShootersTools.com.
Shooters Tools. Okay.
Shooters Tools. He does not and has never discounted his since 2010 when the company was started. If you send me an email with your name and zip code, I forward that list to him, and I basically pick up the shipping for you. So it'll save you about 7.5%. That's on any product. Doesn't have to be my kit.
Okay.
And basically, it is.
And how do I find it here on the website? This is kind of like an old school website.
Yeah, if it's
Precision Torque Limiters kit. So
BTD, Borka Torque Driver, and look for the RH kit.
Okay. Huh. Okay, I'm on their array of extras. Okay, I'm still trying to find it here on the site. It's not very easy to navigate, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm gonna
because there's so many different variations on the kit.
But very well known torque driver kit. You know, it's like if you're in the competition or anything, it's pretty much going to be your standard. You know, you're not going to start with anything less like a bat wrench or anything.
Yeah, that's a field use, heavy duty use kit. That is not for your everyday guy that's just I'm looking for something, I want to spend $20 on it. This is all well thought out.
Okay, the BTD, is that the one?
Yeah, look for that RH. There'll also be a JM for John McQuay.
Okay, it's still
combo kit.
Okay, B8 RH or BH combo kit?
RH
combo. Okay.
And I believe the MSRP on that's $285.
Okay, do you have a video on this that you put up? Because that's probably, I think that's what comes
all
up.
Those videos that he uses on his instructional videos, I filmed all of those.
Okay, so here we go. I'll throw this up for...
Flying Rich says he uses his Harbor Freight wrench.
Yeah, okay, so if you're a motorhead and, if you're looking at valve cover torque, and it says, let's just make up a number, 20 foot-pounds. Yeah, you can go elbow tight and use your elbow wrench, but most of us, if you're building a high-end race car or something, I guarantee you, you're going to have a Snap-on or a Mac or something. Yep. You're going to be putting it at 20 foot-pounds. Mm-hmm. Why would you do any differently on a $8 or $15 or $20,000 rifle?
Yeah.
So, and especially something that you can service it out in the field. Like I said, it might not be the kit for everyone, but if you've got a good quality precision setup, that's the only kit. Just like you said, Todd, it is kind of the standard.
Yeah. Is that what you took with you on that competition, that Elite Sniper Challenge, or?
I did, but I took a few things out that I did not find necessary. Okay. Yeah. And when I say necessary, my kit I do have this, Frank.
Okay. We'll see where he went off to here.
So this is the actual
Uh-huh.
inch-pounds torque driver itself.
Okay. Right.
And it fits in a Maxpedition kit and has everything with it. But within that kit, especially on mine, it has these precision torque limiters. And they are set for 4 inch-pounds, and 4 inch-pounds would be like for your cap screws for your turrets. And then I have one in there that's for 100 inch-pounds, which is for your through bolts for Night Force, the heavy-duty rings. I didn't need to carry this out in the field when I could have this that has a full range from 10 all the way to 70 inch-pounds. So, yeah, I lightened the pack up, and that's why it's in my truck, but I needed to make sure I had tools with me.
What did you have all in your pack? Like, just quick run over your pack.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about gear, one of the biggest things that's going to help you in an event like this are a set of laser range-finding binos. Big shout-out to Hamilton Boykin with Leica. I do a lot of stuff with Leica, and Hamilton's really taking care of me. But if you don't have a set of laser range-finding binoculars, you're already starting to lose time because they're blind stages. So when you get up there and you both get behind guns, you're going to lose that field of view. Whereas if you get a good pair of 10 power fixed, you're immediately scanning. You're going to see it better with the stereoscopic vision, and boom, I've got the distance. And so if you can convey that to your shooting partner, these are a huge advantage. You're going to see these, and you're going to see the Steiners.
So how much is something like that? What does that run?
About $3,000.
Okay. All right.
Now, these do have not only laser range finding capability, but they also have the new ones where you can link it straight to your Kestrel. And so it will tell you the holds and everything else. All of
wind
that.
readings, you name it.
Correct, because I did some beta testing for Leica when their first 1800 comms came out, which was their laser rangefinders that pair with your Kestrel. You got to have something like that. I also have my rifle, your magazine, your pistol, your pistol belt. I had a lot of cold weather gear, and most guys were literally freezing. I mean, Bryson, one morning, he just could not stop shaking. I was like, dude, you cannot wear any type of cotton. I said, you just can't do it because you're going to get it wet. It's going to keep you wet. And so we actually had to go back to back so we could, get some warmth. But I had a lot of cold weather gear, toboggans, gloves, things like that. Big shout out to Outdoor Research. I'm one of their industry pros, and I had all their gear on. I never got cold. I actually fell asleep like 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, I know it looks expensive to people out there. It's, it's an expensive thing to get into if you're, depending on how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't get into it.
But you almost have to have. I mean, look at the medals behind them. I mean, it's just, it shows.
Well, it's not that you have to. And somebody's commenting on here, did he say $20,000 rifle? By the time you get an Accuracy International, and then you throw a Night Force 7 to 35 on there, and then you throw a Wilcox Raptor on there. Now, I think we've talked about this before. I don't know if we did or not, Hank.
I'm trying to remember if we actually saw this. I don't remember this, but someone correct me.
Okay, so all of your special operations guys are going to have these. There were a ton of these at the match. These are about $6,000, and it mounts on top of a perch on your scope. And this is a laser rangefinder, but it also has applied ballistics on it. So I have a tether cord that was running to the side of the rifle. And so if I get up on target and I see something, as soon as I press that button, I wait just a second, and it's going to tell me not only the distance, how much cant I have in my rifle, but it'll also give me the firing solution. So if it says 6.2 mils, all I do is go hold 6.2 mils. Hopefully I'm reading my wind because it's not going to do that for you. However, there's been so many military teams showing up with these things, this kind of knocks your privateer guy out of there.
Yeah.
So
what's the cost? What's the cost on that?
$6,000.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
So, I did not even use it. I took it off the rifle on the 3rd day because so many people are showing up with these, especially military groups, that they made a lot of the sniper's hides such that there was a slit about this big. So you could get just the scope and just the barrel that blocked this. So you couldn't see laser readings. So we didn't even use this. So I actually took it off and left it in the truck.
Live and learn, right?
Well, in the past, it was that advantage that you don't want another team getting just because they have it and you don't. But it was not a benefit in this match at all.
Yeah. And ultimately, no matter how expensive all your tools are, if you don't know how to use them, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, they made it so that you couldn't use it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. How was the guy? So you came in third, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we came in third, and we were just a couple points behind second. Second was definitely within our reach. I think we need a little more season time together as a team, and we could have definitely got second place. I'm a realist, though. First place, I commend them. Those guys knocked it out of the park. We could not have caught them with the team that we had. Myself and Bryson being teammates, those guys had their junk together. They were shooting like a 6.5 47 Lapua, I think it is, and their primary never missed. And so he was getting 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1.
What was their background? Obviously, I don't know. Like I know some
They
people.
were big time PRS shooters.
Okay.
This was not new to them, and basically they said, we're going to give our primary all of the time. Secondary doesn't even need to shoot, and I'm going to rack up every one of them points. They did.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you did at the end there too, didn't you?
Yes, but it was too late then. Now we're playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys killed it. They did.
Well, you said you never did it before, right? And this is the first time you guys as a team went out there and did it. You came in third.
No, I've done a lot of sniper
Okay.
matches with that style format. Bryson has not.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. This was his first time doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to talk bad about Bryson. I don't want this to be misconstrued.
No,
Bryson,
it's learning.
He has a 3-gun background, so when you are done with your pistol and you're done with your shotgun, and you throw that AR up at that 400-yard target, I got a 40-round mag. Tack, 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 tack. I'll hit it, and that's the way he shoots.
Yeah.
This is not what this is. This is settle, hit. That's what it has to be. And he started getting that towards the end, but it's just different. It's a different game.
And it's like you almost have a conversation like, no matter what happens, we got to keep our calm, keep our cool. Like, it's hard to not yell at each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we did not get angry with each other, but we had some discussions after the second night about how things were going. And my biggest thing, I don't enter anything to lose. I don't. If I was going to do that, I'll stay home. I'll shoot out here in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't think I can't do well, I mean, why even enter? So I'm kind of driven. I will tell you, wearing the GoPro was an eye opener for me, because I realized that I can be a little bit of an ass in a competition.
You go into that mode. That's survival mode. That's called survival. Yeah.
I cut so much out. I looked at that and I was like, dang, I wouldn't want to shoot with me. But it was, I felt kind of bad about that. I did.
Well, when stuff gets real, it gets real, and it's pressure. Yeah.
It does.
But that's just a game. And I'm still driven in that game. I'm not getting shot at. And, I've been on that end of it. And so I know what that's like. This is a game. Okay. So I should remember, this is all about having fun. Yeah. That's it. It's a game.
Mm-hmm. Harry's Holsters asked this. By the way, shout out to Clover Tack. He says if you ain't first, you're last. And Harry's Holster says if your partner would have had better clothing, would it have made a difference?
I can tell you, he was on the second day. He was so cold he could not stop shivering. He said he couldn't even feel his hands because it was that cold. And I think it probably would have helped, because I was actually wearing one of the OR Colossus jackets. I have never been cold in that. Matter of fact, I wore a thin polypro shirt and that jacket, because you get too hot in it otherwise.
Well, talk about your clothes, like your socks and everything you're wearing.
Okay, so socks I always run darn tough. They're made in Vermont. They have lifetime warranty. I don't run any socks but those.
What are they made of? Are they wool?
Yeah, they're a wool, or they also do a wool blend, but they're more of a high sock. Mm-hmm. I swear by those. I did not get a single blister. My shoes, I run Ultras, which there was probably a better shoe for that. I didn't do a load-bearing boot that had a shank in it. The Ultras are extremely comfortable and have a lot of cushioning, but it's more of a trail running shoe. I didn't know I was going to be on this heavy gravel, and that killed my feet. But no blisters or anything. As far as everything else, it was all OR equipment. And Outdoor Research has been out for a long time. They do provide stuff for the military. The stuff I get is through that end of it. Some of the stuff's not available in their normal market. But anyway, great stuff. Their gloves, their hats, pants. I always wear Cry Precision.
Okay, yeah.
I got a bunch.
I'm sure that's all also expensive stuff.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you get what you pay for with these things. At some point you come to that realization. Florida Gun says, "quote Tell me what you're wearing," unquote. Laugh out loud.
I did.
Yeah. But that's half the battle when you go to those competitions, man. If you're freezing your ass off.
That's it.
Yeah.
And nothing like Tommy John's. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Harry's Holster says, I just heard what you said. Harry's Holster says, "I've had darn tough since middle school that finally worn out this year." So there you go.
Yeah.
So darn toughs, what do they make again? I know you were mentioning that, right?
Socks.
They make socks. Oh, okay.
He said, "Don't forget those big girl panties." That's what we were just talking about.
Yes, exactly. The big girl panties are very important. I think wool socks are awesome. I forgot the name of it's something 6 on my socks. I forgot. What's the name of the socks, Lola? 0.6. There you go. They make wool socks pretty good, actually. That's all.
Armament and Axis has a really good question. I don't know where he's at or anything else.
What's he want to know here? Would any of you guys be interested in a competition shoot collaboration at our range, working on details now? So you have to tell these guys. I think he's in Ohio. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I'm in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah. So there you go.
So,
you'd have to talk to these guys offline and see if you can get that. See if you can get that stuff figured out. We'll have them back on. I know we're at the 9 o'clock hour now, so we probably need to start wrapping up all the awesomeness. It is awesome, man. I always learn stuff from you when you come on. And that's maybe go out there and look at the videos. I'm gonna have to get a fourth microtech coming.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know how to contact me, so we'll get you started away.
Honestly, I have to get Lola a microtech because she's kind of mad about. She probably needs like a small lightweight one or something like that. So.
Something like an X85 or something like that.
Yeah.
Dirac. My wife carries a Dirac.
What's it called?
The Dirac.
The Dirac. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have the switch in the normal location. It's on the cover.
Oh, yes. I think she was actually looking at that when. I think
my
she was
wife
looking at that
loves
somewhere.
it. She doesn't like the other ones.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so we have to get into that, which we will do. It's always awesome having Elfsters on. I mean, you guys, if you're looking at this show, you're not seeing how much of a nerd about this stuff that Todd is. You're really not. When I met him in South Carolina, we were literally in a traffic jam for like an hour. I'm sitting in my car. He walks down there, and he's outside in the hot, like talking to me about this stuff. For a while now, I was like, you need to come inside because you're making me tired. You're standing out there. So he's very knowledgeable about this.
Yeah, I was talking about stuff. He's like, "Man, I got to be on my show." So I started mentioning Minute of Angle, and he's like, "What?"
Well, because, listen, I think that I know lots of folks out there have been doing it. I think there's always a progression when you get into the gun world, right? You start off somewhere and you grow and you learn and you get into all of this stuff. And I am getting more and more into long distance shooting and all that. So, the way information works, it goes in. It might not sit in there the first time. It needs to go in a couple times, etc. That's why I recommend if folks out there are looking at this and they're really into it, go to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading on YouTube. Look at those videos multiple times. Same thing with X-Ring. Go check out his videos multiple of times. And
I just thought it was nice to have X-Ring on tonight, and I could talk to him about this match because I find it very interesting myself. I have some disabilities myself, so I can't do that type of stuff anymore. But just to listen to him and listen to what kind of gear he's using, everything from his gun scope, mounts to even the socks he was wearing, it all comes together. Yeah. And if you don't think about it in advance, you're going to be screwed before you even hit that range.
And it's a serious game too. And this kind of stuff is like, even though we're talking about the competitions and all that kind of stuff in a certain way, when things get really tough and people have to go out there and fight and do all that kind of stuff, a lot of times people get pulled out of those situations if they're not already, right? Like in special forces or whatever. That's where folks start out, especially when they're young and all of that. So it's a good thing to have to help people get up on these skills before they actually, before they're actually called to have to use those skills to save people both overseas and here in America.
Yeah, for those guys, this is just extra training. I mean, these guys are doing it for real, day in, day out. I can't say enough good stuff about those guys, but you do see them coming out to these events because they're made for those guys in law enforcement, and it's always just great camaraderie. I can't say enough good stuff about it. I'm still happy. Yeah, it was third place, but I'm happy with it. It's good.
Yeah. The pain was all worth it. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up now, and then we'll definitely come back and revisit this again. Let's start with X-Ring. Can you tell the folks out there where can they follow you? How can they communicate with you? I saw someone was asking about an email, so I don't know if you have an email that you give out publicly.
Okay, so first off, thanks to everyone for joining. Thanks to Hank Strange for having me on. I really do appreciate it. This is my second time, and I was out there with Todd. I think Todd suggested it the first time, so big thanks to you, both of you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As far as getting in touch with me, you can always email me at thexringchannel@gmail.com. I always say but Rick says that's wrong. So thexringchannel@gmamail.com.
Are you really going to go with Rick's recommendation on that?
Well, he was right, because every time I say V, somebody puts a V. Who's going to the X-Ring channel? All right, so almost done here. I do want to give a big shout out to Defender Ammunition Company, Chrissy and Haywood. They've supported me since the very beginning. Borka Tools, if you're interested in one of these, make sure you send me an email with your name and zip code on it. Microtech Knives, of course, Tony and Susan Marfion, those guys have supported me since the beginning. And then Leica, Optics, Tacticam, Optics Planet, Cal Leibowitz, I appreciate it. Primary Arms, Dimitri, Thunder Beast Arms, Ray and Zach. If you guys are running suppressors and you want a precision rifle suppressor, there is no other. Thunder Beast Arms is the way to go. Big thanks to Hornady and Proof for Proof Barrels. That's all I have to say. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And some of those guys, actually, quite a few of those guys you mentioned, I know, all good people, good folks. Yes. So thanks to them for supporting you. Todd, tell the folks out there, man, how they can communicate with you, see all the different things that you're up to, find all your 1001 Facebook groups.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much across the board on social media. Currently trying to get my Facebook page back up, so hopefully that does come back. But I do have Elfster's Minute Americans on Facebook. You can always contact me on Todd Elfers on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You name, obviously, YouTube. And if you're curious about reloading, you're not sure what headspace is, or neck tension, bullet jumps, or how to use a scope, minute of angle, mills, you name it, check out that playlist area. I got a ton of playlists already pre-made for you guys. It makes it really easy for your layman, someone getting into the gun world for the first time. Those will definitely help you out.
Okay, very cool. All right, so here before I do the end of the show, I do want to thank you guys for coming on. X-Ring, always great having you here. Todd, same thing, man.
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to Pops Knives.
Oh yes, get that in.
I do have this knife review coming out here, so it's one of my first knife reviews. I'm looking forward to it. So keep an eye out for that video.
We better see you slicing up some deer out there, man.
Well, I'm going to follow and go X-Ring's footsteps here and probably chop like a 4x4 in half or something.
There you go.
Yeah. Set it on fire. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
I'll set it on fire.
It'll probably be able to take it. So yeah, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone for hanging in there on the chat with us. I do want to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. You guys will see pretty soon. Lola is setting up a bunch of giveaways and things like that right now, so you guys will see that it's going to be worth it. Let me drop the end here for everyone. Make sure you guys thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. That's very, very important. If you're looking for a video, I think we'll be turning a video on Hank Strange sometime later this evening, so I just gotta check on that and see what's going on with that. Thanks to Walther's Firearms for sponsoring the show. Thanks to everyone out there. Any last words from you two guys before I press the button?
No, thanks to everyone. Thank you for helping the channel grow.
Absolutely.
Freedom isn't free, my friends. Keep the Second Amendment push going.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Amen. Amen. 150 guns is not enough, so you'll see what I'm talking about later. All right, we're out of here. Peace.
See you.